there now. All right, same date. We're the 3rd, and we're in Charman, and now I'm talking to Joan Kavanagh. Joan, you're a Dublin woman living in Wicklow.
Yes. I'm always consider myself a blow-in, but have been coming down to Glendalough since I was a babe in arms with my family, and have wonderful memories of childhood spent every summer.
You used to rent a house here?
Rent a house, yeah. Next door from Nellie Nolan.
Nellie Nolan.
And we had wonderful times here as children. 2 of my sisters married Wicklow men after. We were really adopted by the local people.
Okay.
And
now Kavanagh is a particularly strong Wicklow name, but you weren't Wicklow Kavanaghs.
No Kavanagh relations at all in Wicklow.
Right. And where was your dad from?
My dad was born in Portlaoise.
Right.
But his family, his father's side of the family, were from Kilkenny.
Okay, the spelling of the Kavanagh surname.
Yeah.
There's a significance in it.
Well, as my father used to say, the wealthy one spells with a C, but remember you spell it with a K, and remember your place.
Yeah.
But I remember going through parish registers one time, and I found something like 22 different ways of spelling the surname.
Yeah.
Kavanagh.
Yeah, and why? So why? Like nowadays, we're very fixated on how you spell correct spelling.
Yeah, well,
but in the past they weren't.
Well, you're in the church registers of and most of the Roman Catholic parish registers date from the early 19th century.
Yeah. You
get a few dating back to the 1700s, but they're very rare in the country.
Right.
But you're talking about only the priest really being able to read and write.
Okay.
And if somebody said their name was Kavanagh, he spelt it the way he heard it.
Yes.
And they were not going to say, no, that's not how I spell my name.
Yes.
So that's how you get the variations on a theme.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we shouldn't really be as fixated nowadays on the spellings. You as a historian, you're far more relaxed.
Yeah. It's
okay.
It's really about placing the people maybe in a townland or and then the names coming up to the family as well.
Okay. And in terms of, you've been involved in the survey in the graveyard over these years as well.
Yeah.
You can connect families with places, and then the dates on the headstones as well has significance.
Yeah, well, if you look at the headstones down in Glendalough, the oldest I should say, headstone that we have an inscription on.
Yeah.
There's people buried there for hundreds if not thousands of years. But the oldest one that we have an inscription for is for a man called Murlock Doyle, 1697. So that's all we know about him.
Yeah.
We don't know whether he was an adult,
a
young man, an old man, or a child.
Okay.
But 1697 is the oldest date.
And is Doyle a strong local name?
Doyle would be a strong name. Byrne, there's at least well over 200 headstones.
Right.
With the surname of Byrne.
Right.
And that wouldn't be surprising because it was the strongest clan in the county.
Yeah.
Going back.
In terms of local Kavanaghs, you had a number there.
There was
fewer.
I think I counted something like about 28.
Right, only
28. Yeah. Well, compared to 200, over 200 for the Byrnes.
And how would you differentiate all those Byrnes then? Like, had they names?
Yeah, a lot of it would be to do with the townland.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you have a nickname attached to the.
Are there any of them you can give examples of? We can come back to it if.
I just can't think of anyone now at the moment. But I mean, the Byrnes they were the last Catholic landed family in the county.
Right.
So you had both the Crowley Byrnes and you had the Byrnes of Ballymanus.
Okay. Are we back in the 1700s now?
Yeah. Like Billy Byrne was the son of the old Gareth Byrne of Ballymanus, and he was a executed in Wicklow Jail.
Right. How far away is Ballymanus?
Ballymanus is over by Aughrim, so you're probably looking at, would it be 25 miles?
Okay.
Maybe.
And those Burnses wouldn't be buried over here, would they?
Well, they could be, because not necessarily that particular branch of the family, but people wanted to be buried in Glendalough because it was such an important place.
Right. So not just from the parish?
No. So you had a trail from down British Bay way, down almost near Wicklow town,
right.
Where people would, carry a coffin all the way up here in order to be buried in Glendalough.
Wow.
There has been some work done on researching that.
Right. Born a Marrow type of a thing.
Yeah. Also, yeah. People wanted to be buried here and regarding it as a place of great spirituality and
closer to heaven.
Yeah. Well, it is a bit of heaven anyway, I think. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so now in terms of the dates you were saying, like, and getting to understand the families over the last few hundred years.
But I suppose if you look at the headstones and the dates, those people, they would have witnessed so much of Irish history.
Yeah.
And been part of Irish history.
Yeah.
So, Murlock Doyle, if he was an adult, he would have maybe heard about the Battle of the Boyne.
Yeah.
We have there's another Walter Byrne, whose headstone is laid up against the wall in the cathedral.
Okay.
According to the headstone, he died in 1750, aged 106.
Okay.
Which would bring him back
1640.
to 1644.
Right.
So he would have, witnessed the wars of the 1640s. And
Cromwell coming in the 1650s.
And Cromwell came to Wicklow.
Did he?
He did, yeah. So he would have witnessed the hardships of the penal laws. And,
yes.
The cracking down on the practice of the Catholic religion.
Yes.
So many people would have witnessed all of those different parts of Irish history.
Yes.
There's one headstone that I always find very tragic. Every headstone has an element of tragedy or an element of sadness about it.
Yeah.
But there's one headstone, it's to the Murray family, and it's two brothers, and one is John, and he died in January 1765, aged 23.
Okay.
And a month later, in February, his brother Andrew died.
Yeah.
And then the mother died in 1778, I think it is.
Right.
Now, there's no reference to her name, it's just and their mother.
Yeah.
But the two boys, one was aged 23, which would have meant he was born in 1742, and the other was only 13. So that mother lost two boys in the space of a month.
Yeah, yeah.
But the other thing that I find interesting about it is the eldest boy, John, he was born in 1742. And to me, he is a symbol of hope.
Yeah.
Because 1740 and 1741 was a great famine. Now, when we talk about the Great Famine, we're normally talking about the 1840s, 1845, 50, 52. But in 1739, there was a tremendous cold snap.
Right.
Extremely cold weather. So the River Shannon supposedly froze over.
Right.
And there was a hurling match supposed to be on the Shannon in that year. And various other rivers froze over.
Right.
But then that winter into 1740, the ground was so hard, the crops didn't grow. So the potato, which had been introduced maybe 100 years or more before, and had very quickly become the staple diet for the people. People couldn't grow, it wouldn't grow in the ground.
Right.
And then the seedlings also died.
Yeah.
And so there was a lack of potatoes, and then typhus and various diseases followed.
Yeah.
The starvation, and it's estimated that anywhere from between, I think it's 250 to 480,000 people died out of a population of about 2.5 to 3 million.
Yes.
The figures are
uncertain.
Because of the times, it's difficult to get exact figures, and certainly no census returns would be available.
But your own research in County Wicklow has indicated that that 1740 famine
it was
struck
widespread.
Here. It was widespread.
Throughout the whole country.
So when we see a headstone from the 1740s, it's from a population who experienced that decimation.
It would have been.
Right.
So that mother, whose name we don't know, other than that she was Murray, she gave birth to her son John in 1742, a year after. It's known as the year of the slaughter, 1741.
Yeah.
And a higher percentage of people died during that famine than during what we call the Great Famine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet she had a child the following year.
Yeah.
And then to think that 23 years later he would die, and then his younger brother would die within a month.
Yeah.
So tragedy, and yes, a symbol of hope at the same time. You know, that even though people were suffering with famine and with disease, people still gave birth, and people were born. So it's the cycle of life continuing, and you still see, in like that Black 47, so many people would have died during the what we call the Great Famine, and yet people were born as well.
Yeah.
So life continues.
Yeah, we keep going.
Yeah.
In terms of your own research, then, in the history of the county, like, have you been to lots of graveyards in Wicklow?
Yeah, I would have been.
Fair few.
Yeah.
And would you see a similar range of headstones?
Well, you would.
In
yes,
them?
not as many.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I think Glendalough is
different.
It's different.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm slightly biased.
Yeah.
But there's something very, very special about that graveyard.
Yeah.
And I think even just walking up the steps of the gateway, and you see the sanctuary stone on the right hand side, and if you touch it, you're following in the footsteps of thousands of people who would have touched that when they were looking for sanctuary in times of old. And it is a very, very special place that really it's a microcosm of Irish history, because it's the height of Irish monasticism. You have obviously St. Kevin, but then you have the more formal structures going up, and then the Augustinians coming in with the reform in the 12th century. But then you also have the dissolution of the monasteries, and the monastery going into disuse. But you also have the 1798 rebellion and people camping there, both rebels and the government forces
in the valley,
within the valley and within the graveyard.
Right.
But you have the people still coming to pray there and coming on pilgrimage on the 3rd of September, 3rd of June every year, and the gathering of people who wanted to come and pray. And they did other things as well.
Yes. Now that pattern was strong, but the pattern was the Catholic, the bishop, I presume, didn't like everything that was going on.
In the 1860s.
In the 1860s.
There's a great little report, or a little paragraph in the Rathdrum Parish Registers about a death having occurred at the
pattern.
The pattern. And I think it was the Redemptorist priests.
Right.
They were great for
the patterns.
Well, no, well,
No, for shutting them down.
For preaching,
Alright.
weren't they?
Alright.
The fire and
Oh yeah.
brimstones.
Yeah.
And they, I think the local parish priest got them in.
Okay.
And they
Alright.
said, no, it should end.
Yeah.
And it finished.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. So, because I would have thought you would just say, "Oh, we're not doing it anymore," but they actually had to get in, and they had to get the community to agree to it.
Yeah.
By giving them the.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
That's a famous painting of the pattern of Glendalough.
Oh wow! Yeah.
By a man called Joseph Peacock in 1813. So he did. You know, you had the peddlers here selling their wares. You know, pots and pans. You have bread and food being sold here.
Yeah.
You have a tent here with the sign of the harrow, which denotes that there's alcohol being sold.
Right.
And you have the ordinary people. You have the faction fight going on here in the background. You have the one-legged cripple here trying to cross the river. Different peddlers selling different things. You have the blind.
Oh yeah.
Peddler or balladeer.
Right.
But then you also have the ladies arriving in their carriage.
Yes. Okay. For the finery is evident.
Yeah. So
and that almost looks like a hunt here.
Well, it's thought that this man here may actually be Joseph Peacock himself. Because he's the only one facing directly out.
Here I am. Wow.
So you have the ordinary people.
Yeah.
But you also had the gentry coming.
Yes. Yeah. So, like you say, like the microcosm of Irish society.
Yeah.
And then the graveyard being a microcosm of Irish history.
Yes.
And Wicklow history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joan, that's wonderful.